People who met their so or another important person in their life through Reddit. What's your story? Deleted. My now husband and I both responded to a thread looking for players for a particular role-playing game. And time and commitments worked out so that we both ended up in the same group playing this game. We got to chatting outside the game when I'd mentioned something about my ex-husband, who I still lived with at the time despite being divorced. My now husband was confused about my living situation, so he asked me a few questions. We started chatting more and ended up playing in another game together. At the time I was single, but not really looking, and I told myself I wasn't going to do a long-distance relationship again. My first marriage had started long distance as well, and in chatting about this, my now husband joked and said, "I'm going to make you love me." It went on for a few months after that, and in early 2014 we had a long chat by email and through Skype. A lot of back and forth, and eventually decided that okay, yeah, we'd try this thing. He was in the UK. I was in Australia. I went to the UK for the first time ever to visit him at the end of 2015. I went back again at the end of 2016, and in January 2017 he asked me to marry him this year. That was also the weekend my ex-husband died. So it was a very happy moment followed by several of the most traumatic weeks of my life. But my partner was so supportive and caring through the whole thing. I knew I'd made the right decision. I'd already sold my house in Australia back at the beginning of 2016. And unfortunately shortly after my ex passed away, our dog also died. So there was very little tying me back to my home country. We prepared all the documents and requirements for planning a wedding and a fiancé visa for the UK. And in August 2018 my visa was granted. I quit my job of 10 years, got on a plane and arrived in the UK in September 2018. We were married in October, and my temporary residence was approved in January 2019. We've been living together since September. Things aren't always perfect, but I'm happier than I'd been in a very long time. He's a very sweet man. I adore him to the ends of the earth, and I'm so happy that I get to spend, hopefully, the rest of my life with him this year. Right after college I moved to a new city by myself, and I was having trouble meeting people. I ventured onto the city's subreddit and saw a meetup posted for a Halloween pub crawl. So I decided to go. I told the group what costume I would be wearing and headed out. I got to the first bar a bit late, so I assumed the group had moved to the next one. The group saw me from the line for the next bar and called me over. But just as they did, two very shady-looking guys who had apparently been following me since the last bar popped up from behind me and told me they were here to take me to the party. One of the members of the Reddit group one was going to meet stepped forward and said, "No, this is our friend. She's with us. You two can leave." So, essentially a group of Reddit strangers saved me from real-life strangers. That was 5 years ago. And the group one met that night and I are still super close, even though only about half of the original group still lives in the same city. We group chat and or roast each other every day. I also met my so of 3+ years through the group. So thanks to Reddit, not only did I not get kidnapped, but I also met most of my favorite people in the world. I had just moved to NC and the Auckland sub was having semi-regular meetups. I decided to go and meet some new people. My partner was a local but had broken up with his girlfriend a few months prior and decided to go to the meetup for similar reasons. We made a good group of friends and ended up at a few outings together and started flirting. We started dating a couple months before my visa was up, but could tell this had potential to be something special. We decided to move in together so that I would be eligible for a partnership visa and stay in the county. It made the relationship move pretty fast. But 5+ years later, we're married. Bought a house in Auckland. A huge feat these days. Have a lovely 2-year-old pupper. And just welcomed our baby girl into the world in March. We are so in love and have a wonderful Happy life together. All thanks to our Auckland having some meetups at the local pub. Met my so-on friend making subreddit after a really bad breakup. Long distance for 3 years. Together 5 years this October. He lived a couple states over from me. We would Skype every day for hours. We started off as friends but it turned into something more. Still love him at it. The sub was need a friend. Met my ex-GF now best friend on Reddit. She uploaded the picture of one of the cats in my college campus. I identified it, texted, and eventually we met up in college. Best relationship ever. However, while being with me she learned that she wasn't into men. So we stayed as friends and hang out almost every day. I moved to another country to be an au pair after college and didn't know anyone who had ever been. Bear, a boy in the city I was moving to, asked if any Americans wanted to get coffee or beer so he could practice his English. He shared his Twitter profile so he seemed normal. I also read about how hard it was to make friends in Norway, so I was all over the idea of my first possible friend. He gave me a lot of good advice before I moved. He studied in the US as a college student, so had some good points of help. 3 weeks after I moved, he invited me to a party. I got pretty wasted, and he let me sleep in his bed while he slept on the couch. A month later we were dating, and 6 months later we were engaged. A year later he moved to the US, and a week after that we got married. Now, 4 years later, we have a cute puppy with a heart-shaped nose, and we will go back to Norway for his 30th this summer. I only started using Reddit to ask questions before I moved to another country, but since it brought me to meet my person, I figured it's worth sticking around on. Major shout out to our Norway meet bandit here. https imager.com/d2zovb. My cat is significant in my life. He found me on Reddit when he prompted his first owner to look for a new home for him online as he wasn't doing well with his dog roommate. I've had him ever since. Edit. Gold for photos sounds like a fair trade. Presenting Adonis. Donnie. https imager.com/a/quercy. Someone posted a photo of Jamaican patties that hit the front page. I commented that amazing patties were sold at a plaza near me. A rather obscure suburban one. I got replies saying, I never thought I'd see ____ plaza mentioned on Reddit. One user sent me a message asking for other takeout suggestions as he just moved near the plaza I wrote about. He mentioned his first name in the big box shop he works at, asking if I knew any good places near there as well. Fast forward 2 years and I'm shopping at the aforementioned big box shop, unable to find the item I need. I ask for help, and this cute guy starts looking up the item. As here I notice his name tag and the memory just clicks for some reason. Me. Is your name ____? Him. Yep. Me. Do you go on Reddit? Him. Yes. Me. We chatted 2 years ago about food. Him. Relieved. Oh, we've been together over 2 years and are moving in together this July. Please give me hope. My 2 years of Redditing has yet to benefit me in any way. Was going through a depressive time. July 16th, 2017 was the death date I decided for myself. I purchased a lot of drugs. I was gonna OD myself. I was addicted to OxyContin. I also self-harmed. July 15th, 2017. I decided to go do something that I loved for my last day on Earth. Play some video games. I got into a lobby of 4 people. Usually I'd mute the players and play music instead, but for some reason something told me to listen. There was a woman in the lobby. She tried including me on the conversations she was having with her 3 friends. So I joined in and it was all great and fun. The next day, my death date, we chatted all day and played video games all night. She made me feel happy and totally made me forget about wanting to kill myself and made the loud voice in my head quiet. To this day, we've almost known each other for 2 years. She's my girlfriend and soon-to-be fiancé. She has 2 amazing kids and I love them both. They call me Dad. She saved my life and gave me a family and lots of love. I owe her the world.